After experiencing nearly every localized Otome game released so far, these are my personal top 10 favorites. At number 10, we have Birushana. If you enjoyed the classic historical fantasy Otome Hakoki, there's a good chance you'll enjoy Birushana as well. Set during the Genpei War, the story follows Shanao, a young heir raised as a boy who fights to restore her clan's name. What makes Birushana stand out for me is its strong heroine and enemies to lovers dynamics. Shanao isn't just a capable warrior. She has backbone, isn't afraid to talk back, and can fight for herself. I also can't talk about Birushana without mentioning Tomomori. He's obsessive, mischievous, and completely unhinged, yet his route ended up being far sweeter than I expected. Watching Shanao gradually go from despising him to caring for him was satisfying. The fact that his route is the steamiest is a bonus. Then there's Tsugunobu from the fan disc. I have a weakness for protective, devoted bodyguard types, and I appreciate how he encourages Shanao to embrace her true self. My brain says he's husband material, but my heart still says Tomomori. In real life, I would choose Tsugunobu, but since this is fiction, I'm choosing both. Coming in at number 9 is Meiji Tokyo Renka. The story follows Mei, a high school girl who can see spirits. One night, a mysterious magician named Charlie transports her to the Meiji era where she loses her memories and can't return home until the next full moon. What makes this game stand out is its charming, eccentric cast and their hilarious interactions. My favorite is Charlie. He performs magic shows at night, yet by day, he's nowhere to be found. He's also a bit of a masochist, though I'm not sure whether he's joking or not. He's always smiling with his eyes closed, and I have a soft spot for characters like that because it makes me curious about what they're hiding. I'm also fond of Otojiro and Kyoka. Otojiro cross-dresses as a geisha, but his surprisingly masculine big brother personality creates a fun contrast with his elegant appearance. Meanwhile, Kyoka is a novelist with severe misophobia and one of the snarkiest tsunderes I've seen. Their bromance, especially Otojiro's relentless teasing, is really fun to watch. Taking the number 8 spot is Cafe Enchante. Don't let the warm cafe setting fool you, this game gets far darker and heavier than it first appears. The story follows Kotone, who inherits her grandfather's cafe and discovers that its regular customers are actually non-human beings from mystical worlds. What starts as a wholesome slice of life quickly turns into one of the most heartbreaking otome I've ever played. As for the love interest, Messire is my best boy. Despite calling himself the Demon King, he's cheerful and easygoing, but he's also the most mysterious character. Unlike the others, he never stays overnight at the cafe and tends to keep a certain distance from those around him. His route will reveal all of his secrets, and it's where the story hit me the hardest. Maybe I just have a masochistic taste in fiction, but I actually liked the bittersweet ending because it made the story unforgettable. I also loved Il, a fallen angel who spends much of his time in his room playing otome games. Let's just say he's a little too relatable for otome fans. Overall, if you're looking for endearing characters and plenty of angst hidden beneath a cozy surface, it's absolutely worth playing. Next up is number 7, Charade Maniacs. Imagine being kidnapped and trapped in a strange world, forced to participate in deadly dramas while knowing that a traitor is lurking among your group. That's the premise of this suspenseful death game. One thing I liked was how every love interest became a potential suspect. In most otome, you're deciding who to romance. In this one, you're also deciding who you can trust. The constant suspicion kept me invested from beginning to end. My favorite is Haiji. At first, he claims to be a 12-year-old elementary school student despite looking much older, so it's immediately obvious that something about him doesn't add up. I've always had a soft spot for characters who are difficult to figure out, and Haiji made me question what was true and what wasn't. There's also something strangely detached about him. He often seems to live in his own head and be oddly unconcerned with what's going on around him, which made him intriguing to me. His route also reveals some of the biggest answers in the story. Despite its flaws, I had a great time with it. If you enjoy mystery and uncovering secrets, it's definitely worth checking out. Landing at number 6 is Cupid Parasite. What happens when the goddess of love is sent to the human world and tasked with helping a group of hopelessly dysfunctional men find romance? The result is one of the funniest and most chaotic automate I've ever played. The story follows Lynette, Cupid herself, who works as a matchmaker and is assigned 5 notoriously problematic clients. The highlight of the game is its unique blend of over-the-top humor and surprisingly intense, heart-wrenching storytelling. While most routes are lighthearted, Alan's storyline deviates from the rest. At first, I didn't like Alan because he appears to be a playboy who enjoys stealing women away from their partners, but there's far more to him than meets the eye. His route reveals deeper layers of his true motivations. He ended up winning me over by the end. You probably know I like emotional damage at this point. If you're looking for a colorful romantic comedy with unpredictable dramatic turns, this is a must play. Breaking into the top 5 is Nightshade. If you love tragedy, angst, and characters who would burn down the world for the heroine, Nightshade is an easy recommendation. The story follows Enju, a ninja whose first mission throws her into a dangerous conspiracy. Few Otome games have made me as attached to the cast as Nightshade did. By the time I finished it, I was genuinely sad to say goodbye. Kurayuki and Gekamaru left the biggest impression on me. Gekamaru is the loyal protector type, one of my favorite archetypes because it pains me to see how much they're willing to sacrifice for the heroine. Still, Kurayuki's route destroyed me. I've always had a soft spot for playful characters who conceal their true thoughts behind jokes, and he was exactly that. His route reveals a much darker and more tragic side of him, showing that his attachment to Enju stems from deep loneliness and pain. The more I learned about his past, the harder it became not to sympathize with him. Kicking off the top 4 is Taisho X Alice. The story follows Eureka, a girl who wakes up in a dark, more colorless world with no memories and soon finds herself in a surreal dreamscape filled with gender-swapped fairy tale characters. What makes Taisho X Alice stand out is its brilliant foreshadowing and plot twists. With each route, more pieces of the puzzle fall into place, and the truth behind everything only becomes clear by the end. When it comes to favorites, Gretel and Alice are tied for me. I prefer Gretel as a love interest, but I prefer Alice as a character. Gretel is Eureka's adopted younger brother with a massive sister complex. On the surface, he's polite and well-mannered, but beneath that facade lies a far more twisted side. I love the way he knows he shouldn't feel that way about her, yet can't stop himself from giving in to those forbidden desires. That's my kind of guilty pleasure. Peak yandere content right there. Alice, on the other hand, is one of the most unconventional poster boys I've seen. As a hardcore tsundere, he's witty, sarcastic, and often downright rude. His banter with Eureka is extremely entertaining because she actually talks back instead of simply tolerating him. If you enjoy fairy tale romances with unexpected twists, I highly recommend it. Claiming the number 3 spot is Code Realize. Set in a steampunk version of London, the story follows Cardia, a girl whose poisonous body has forced her to live isolated from society. After being rescued by the legendary thief Arsène Lupin, she sets out on a journey to discover the truth behind her existence and find a cure for her condition. One of the strongest points of this game is its lovable cast. Watching the group grow closer throughout the story made their adventure memorable. Among them, Saint-Germain is my ultimate favorite. Calm, mysterious, and always smiling with his eyes closed, he's the type I'm specifically drawn to. He's hard to read, which only made him more intriguing. The loneliness he carried and the feelings he struggled with were incredibly touching. The scene where he tells Cardia, "If you think you're a monster, then I'm no different," has stuck with me ever since. I'm a sucker for fate-forbidden love, and his route embodies that perfectly. It's the same reason Anku from Versha Evermore ended up stealing my heart. Taking the runner-up spot at number 2 is 9RIP. If you're a fan of Halloween-themed stories or want to romance ghosts and spirits, this game delivers exactly that. The story follows Misa, a high school girl struggling with anxiety about her future, who finds herself caught up in a series of supernatural worlds filled with eerie mysteries and paranormal encounters. I was completely drawn into the game's spooky world building inspired by Japanese folklore and urban legends. While the game explores heavy themes such as grief, trauma, and suicide, it balances them with plenty of heartfelt and humorous moments, which hit the sweet spot for me. Out of the cast, I found Minami the most interesting. He's an unpredictable incubus known for tempting and playing on people's emotions. He checks so many boxes for me, enemies to lovers, tricksters, and Gapmo. There's a constant push and pull between his desire for Misa's soul and his growing feelings for her, which made his route especially compelling. And finally, my favorite localized Otome game to this day is still Collar X Malice. The story follows Ichika, a rookie police officer, as she investigates a series of mass murders while wearing a deadly poison collar. It's rare for me to love nearly every character in a game, but Collar Malice managed to do that. The main cast all have distinctive quirks, and their chemistry creates an entertaining group dynamic. The reason I picked up this game in the first place was Takaru. Back then, I was obsessed with 707 from Mystic Messenger, so when I found out there was another genius hacker, Tsundere, I was sold. Despite his prickly personality, his huge sweet tooth creates a surprisingly charming Gapmo. His constant bickering with Mineo also led to some of the funniest moments in the game. Then I fell for Kay. He's a weirdo in the best possible way, whether he's climbing into buildings through high windows, eating bizarre flavored snacks, or falling asleep in random alleyways. I couldn't help but adore him. But beneath his laid-back and carefree exterior, he's very perceptive, competent, and emotionally guarded. His route took me on quite an emotional roller coaster. That said, it was Shiraishi's route that stayed with me the longest. He always wears a grin on his face, can easily read people, and enjoys messing with others for his own entertainment. Throughout the other routes, it's implied that he has some hidden agenda. Watching him gradually learn to understand emotions and discover his own identity was truly moving. His route remains one of the most impactful I've played in any Otome game. The game also excels in its crime-solving plot and morally complex themes, such as the blurred lines between good and evil, between personal definitions of justice and what society considers just. Sometimes there is no truly right or wrong answer, creating a thought-provoking experience. Needless to say, it's definitely worth the hype. I would recommend it not only to Otome fans, but to any visual novel fan who enjoys detective thrillers, and that's my top 10 favorite localized Otome games. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.